It's a gray, cloudy day, and there are thunderstorms rolling in. That seems appropriate to talk about Robert Johnson, the Delta Blues, and the Devil's Crossroads. I have been to what I believe are the Devil's Crossroads. Better than tell you about it, I'm going to show you where they are in this video. We will go there together. We'll take a virtual tour of Robert Johnson's Crossroads. Robert Johnson, in case you're not familiar, is credited as one of the founders of rock and roll music, long before rock and roll actually existed. He's also a legendary blues man. Eric Clapton, Led Zeppelin, Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones, even Bob Dylan credit Robert Johnson with paving the way to do the things that they later accomplished in their own careers. They say they couldn't have done it without the ground that was paved by Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson is a shadowy figure. We don't know a lot about him. We know that he was born in rural Mississippi around 1911. We know that he appeared one day on Dockery Farms outside of Cleveland, Mississippi. Dockery Farms was a plantation and a sawmill. It was a cotton farm. And it was there that guys like Son House and Charlie Patton, legendary blues guys, were working by day. They were playing their instruments at night. They were building a following. Robert Johnson just turned up one day. They called him a kid. And he wanted to be a blues man like they were, but he didn't have the talent for it. He didn't have the ability to play guitar. And one day, Robert Johnson just disappeared. And 1 year later, he returned. But amazingly, he could play guitar like nobody knew how to. Charlie Patton and Son House said that they couldn't play guitar like he could play, but he would turn his back to the audience when he played in clubs, at these gigs that he would have, so nobody could see what he was doing with his hands. They say that Robert Johnson had taken his guitar to the Crossroads at midnight, where a man, a tall, shadowy man, emerged, took his guitar, tuned it, handed it back to him, and when Robert Johnson took that guitar, he knew how to play the blues. So, whether the deal with the devil actually happened, it factored heavily into his songs about hellhounds, crossroads, supernatural dealings, the devil. He went on to huge success. He recorded songs for Columbia. He toured everywhere. He left Mississippi. He toured Memphis, Texas, Arkansas, up to Chicago, all the way up to Canada. But he died at the age of 27 over a course of 3 days, a slow, painful death. Some people say it was strychnine poisoning. Some people say it was bad whiskey. The legend about that is that he was being slowly killed by a jilted husband of one of his affairs. But in dying at 27, he became one of the founding members, if not the founding members, of the 27 Club, rock stars that died at the age of 27. Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, all dead at 27, but Robert Johnson decades before them. In death, Robert Johnson went on to become a blues myth. Because we know so little about him, because there's so little information that is actual fact, the legend has grown. And at the center of that legend is the Crossroads. Whether or not we believe that Robert Johnson actually sold his soul to the devil at the Crossroads, we do know that the Crossroads played a very important, integral part in his music and his songwriting. He sang about the Crossroads. And there has been a lot of effort put into discovering where the Crossroads actually are. So, let's go there. A couple of years ago, on a November day, it was a chilly November morning, my wife and I set out and we drove the Mississippi Blues Trail all the way up to Memphis. And I gotta tell you, it's the area that we're talking about, the Dockery Farms area. It's a spooky place. When we went, there was nobody there. It was just the two of us. Dockery Farms is outside of Cleveland. It's literally in the middle of nowhere. It's farm country. And the idea that you're out there in the middle of nowhere, there are no police, there are no streetlights, there's nothing. There are residences few and far between, but for the most part, it's just open farmland. And so there's this building that's been there since the late 1800s. It's Dockery Farms, and it was a cotton farm, sawmill, and they know it's on the Blues Trail, so they know the history of this location. So many blues guys came through here, but there's a display. There's like an exhibit, and you push this button, and the blues just appear out of these hidden speakers in Dockery Farms. And I gotta tell you, you're there by yourself on a gray November morning, you push this button and you just hear blues from the 30s coming out of nowhere. It's a religious experience. It really is. So there's no denying that certain places have power. And I think that Dockery Farms is one of them. Some people say that Dockery Farms is right in front of the Crossroads, that if you walk out to the road, I believe that's Highway 8 and Dockery Road, or Dockery Highway. There's different names for these places, especially since they've changed a few times since the 30s. I doubt that that's the Crossroads. There is a Crossroads, but I doubt that that's it. Furthermore, you go about 45 minutes away to Clarksdale, Mississippi. They actually have a monument for the Crossroads. It's at the corner of Highway 49 and Highway 61. And there's a monument there that they have built where they say that is the Crossroads. I don't think that's the Crossroads either. I can't imagine that Robert Johnson would be wandering in a crossroads that's at the intersection of two busy roads, busy highways. Even at midnight, two busy highways like that, two major roads where they intersect, I don't think so. I will recommend that you check it out because the monument itself is fantastic. And right up the street, like practically next door, is Abe's Barbecue. And they have also embraced the legend of the Crossroads, and it's fantastic food, a lot of history, but probably not Robert Johnson's Crossroads. No, I believe that Robert Johnson's Crossroads is back by Dockery. If you go, say you're leaving Dockery Farms, you look straight ahead through the actual crossroads, through the Highway 8 crossroads. Look ahead, there's a dirt road. It's a gravel road. It's not paved. There's no street signs there. Take that road. You go straight. We're going to do this together. I'm going to show you this is Google Maps. I'm going to show you. You take this road. It's just this rural road, farm country. On the left is a cemetery, an old church cemetery. Not like a big, hundreds of people buried there cemetery. I'm talking about a small, creepy cemetery with a few dozen people. Some headstones, overgrown, wooded area. You go past that. Not far, probably about, a quarter of a mile. There is what I believe are Robert Johnson's Crossroads. Why do I think that these are Robert Johnson's Crossroads? I don't know. There's a feeling there. It's off the highway. The Dockery Highway 8 is not. It's not a busy highway really, but it's busier than I would expect something like the legend that we're talking about to take place at. But here, about a quarter of a mile away, past the cemetery, this dirt road, this intersection, look at it. Look at this crossroad. You can feel it. Now, that's me standing in the middle of the crossroad with my guitar. I have to tell you, these crossroads have a feeling. There's an electricity there. Just like Dockery Farms has this electricity. This crossroads, it has a feel. Now, whether you believe in the legend or not, whether the devil actually appeared at midnight and tuned Robert Johnson's guitar, we can say that that's myth, perhaps. You can believe it, you can choose not to believe it. I believe it's one of rock's greatest legends. I'm not here to debunk it, but I will say that whether you believe it or not, these crossroads have power, because Robert Johnson, these legendary blues guys, most likely were very familiar with this crossroads. If Robert Johnson went to Dockery Farms as often as it says, as often as the legends and as his friends say that he did, he would have passed these crossroads a lot. He would have been very familiar with that road. He would have been familiar with that cemetery. All of these things factored into his music. He sang about cemeteries. He sang about crossroads, hellhounds. Where did they come from? They came from places like this. If you're going to go there, be safe. I'm not worried that a boogeyman is going to sneak out and grab you. Some supernatural entity from beyond our realm is going to be waiting for you there. But there might be something else waiting for you there. Remember, it's the middle of nowhere. So if you check it out, be safe. Guys, thanks for watching this video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. If you want to see more rock and roll legends, stuff like this, let me know. And I will catch you later.